There's a story of a couple and their son who lived in a remote part of the countryside. And strangely enough, they were very, very private people, and they'd never been to a big city in their lives, which is unbelievable, but never been to a big city. So they thought they'd treat themselves. So they booked a 5-star hotel in a big city. And this hotel had everything: spa, pool, shops, hairdressers, you name it, it had it. And they were walking around, you see, this hotel, and they'd never seen anything like it, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. And they were fascinated by this big metal box in a wall. And it was a lift, elevator. And they stood and watched. And they saw a very elderly lady with a walking frame approach the lift, approach the elevator, the big metal box in the wall. She made her way to the doors. She pressed a button and the doors opened. And she went slowly inside. And the doors closed. The numbers over the doors illuminated, one after the other. And then they stopped. A moment later, the numbers lit up again in descending order, and then they stopped. The doors slid open, and a beautiful girl, stunning, walked out of the lift. And the father said to the son, "Go and get your mother." Whether we're in the city or in the country, we all have our problems. Family, work, parishes, you name it, we all have our problems. And today's gospel is not a pretty one, but one that has come to roost in many generations. Many Christians who suffer for their beliefs all over the world are literally taking up the cross and following Jesus. But we all have our crosses to bear. Some are visible and some are invisible. So, for example, if you have a broken leg, people can see that you have a problem, or a broken arm. Or if you have a scar or something, people know that you've had a cross to bear in some shape or form because they can see the cross that you may be carrying. But there are many invisible crosses that people carry. It could be somebody trapped in a relationship, coming to terms with rejection or a broken promise of trust. It could be the cross of loneliness, the lack of self-worth and confidence. It could be shyness, it could be anxiety, it could be nervousness. It could be grief, the loss of a loved one. It could be depression. Not always visible, but very real to those who are prone to such things. I suppose the phrase, "there but for the grace of God go I," is very appropriate. Because we can never tell. You can never tell what somebody is carrying in their lives. The old saying, "You can't judge a book by its cover," is sometimes very true. We never know the baggage or the burdens that people carry. It's a bit like an iceberg in the ocean. You may see the tip of the iceberg, but you don't know the depth of the iceberg underneath the water. And that's why our judgment of others is sometimes flawed and incomplete, because beneath the surface we don't know the crosses that people are carrying. We are not walking in other people's shoes and they are not walking in ours. So that's why we don't have a full picture of each other's lives. Oscar Wilde was right when he said, "Every saint has a past and every sinner has a future." We are a mixture of both saint and sinner. What we need to remember is that so is everyone else. And when we do look at others, and we may feel quick to judge or maybe quick to condemn, may we remember that we are a mixture of saint and sinner that applies to each and every one of us. And just some breaking news for you. Last night in the back garden, I looked out and there was a spaceship, and out stepped a 20-foot cream bun. And I thought to myself, that's an extra cholesterol. Have a lovely weekend. Take care, God bless, and hope to see you soon. Lots of love, Father Mike.